Sneakers are big business. In Africa, revenue from sneaker sales is expected to reach over $2 billion in this year. And the volume of sneakers on the continent is projected to reach just under 40 million pairs by 2028. So on a continent where sneakers are much loved, in walks the Sneaker Shack. The business cleans and restores sneakers, and while it might be a simple concept, in the hands of a skilled entrepreneur, the business has taken huge strides. So this is Africa Pulse. I'm Bronwyn Seaborn, and on this episode, we take a look at entrepreneurship. I'm in a Sneaker Shack store here in Johannesburg, South Africa, and I'm sitting down with the founder, Lolo Ndlovu, to talk about his entrepreneurial journey. So Lolo, thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks for being with me, Baron.
So Sneaker Shack, the concept is you clean and restore sneakers. Where did you get the idea from?
That's the simple answer. Essentially, that's the sort of core business. That's where we began. And it's not a new idea. You know, I think we all kind of grew up cleaning our own sneakers, you know, mom and dad's cousin sneakers. And if you were lucky, you could charge maybe 5 or 10 rand, you know, to get those sneakers clean. So, you know, it's really not a sort of new concept that we've, you know, invented. I mean, what we've done is we've taken a model that we know, you know, kind of exists. We've seen a bit of demand, you know, in that sort of space in the market. And essentially what we've, you know, done is, you know, it's taken that, you know, built a thesis on this sort of space. You know, we look at sneakers as an asset class almost, and, you know, trying to develop a service around that asset class, but in a way that's scalable. And, you know, that's essentially the kind of background of Sneaker Shack.
Because having the idea is one thing, getting the financial buy-in then quite something else to get the business going. So walk us through that journey. You have the idea. How do you actually make it a reality?
Yeah, I mean, the buy-in is very difficult. You know, I can remember, like, you know, one of the first challenges we had is actually getting landlords to kind of, like, you know, agree to give us space, and, like, you know, you talk them through the concept. You're like, you know, how are you going to make rent? So you know, it's been a huge educational process, not only, you know, for us but for the consumer at large. And you know, it has been a, you know, pretty tough effort. You know, it's, you know, we'd have to spend, you know, hours trying to sort of chat through that entire journey. But, you know, I think once we crack the education barrier and why it's important to have, you know, practice good footwear hygiene, and just why we see this concept as something that's, you know, a new kid in the services business, you know, because we see services migrating, you know, as the customers change, you know, and the demographic becomes slightly younger. You know, there's a different demand for different types of services, and I think, you know, we're probably at the forefront of that sort of younger services movement.
When you start the business, what targets did you have in mind? You know, either financially or just where you want the business to be. When you started out, where were you going? Has that changed, or how quickly did you meet that?
I think for the first 5 years, we just wanted to survive. You know, because I think there was an inkling that we, you know, we're taking a massive bet, you know, on a non-existent industry. So we essentially have to build the industry as we go. So, you know, I'm glad that we have survived. You know, that's a great thing. And now I think looking forward, we have the product market fit, and it's all about, you know, what is the best and most sustainable way to scale the business. So, you know, we are presented with a lot of questions around, you know, model, for example. You know, is it franchising? You know, do we run, you know, corporate owned? You know, how lean do we go with stores? You know, what really matters in the experience? Really experimenting with things like pickup and delivery. How do we make it, you know, less, even more convenient, should I say? You know, for customers. So, yeah, a lot of growth questions that are, you know, are there. But, you know, in the beginning, it was about survival, and I think we've managed that.
You talk about survival, and you had to survive through a global pandemic.
Yeah.
How tough was that?
Yeah, Bronwyn, I think that was probably one of the most testing times as, you know, as an entrepreneur, because I think that was a time where you really had to kind of relook at your values. You know, not only as an individual, but how does it, you know, sort of reverberate, or how does it come across in your business? You know, and one of the things I think we promised ourselves, you know, is that, you know, fundamentally, when you look at business, not only retail, just business in general, it's a group of people that agree on a certain type of on a certain set of principles, you know, that can go in a certain direction. And at the end of the day, it's you know, if you can't take care of your people, then you don't have a business. So more than anything else, you know, over COVID, we decided, you know, we're going to keep everyone, we're going to keep everyone staffed, we're going to pay full wages, and, you know, we'll figure it out from there. You know, and luckily, what we kind of saw is, you know, as an advent of COVID, a lot more people becoming, you know, very sort of hygiene focused
Yes.
in a sense. So, any sort of tad bit of dirt would become a lot more sort of, forefront in the conscious. And we had an exciting brand at the time. A lot of people were, taking up, walking, hiking,
Yes.
over the pandemic. So, I think in a way, I hate to say it, but it really did help us in some way, just kind of, really, ramp up education. So, although it was tough, we made some tough decisions. I think, by us sticking to our morals and principles, in some way, the kind of universe, sort of allowed us to kind of, see the pandemic as an opportunity more so than something that was destructive for us.
Because you talk about the pandemic, and a lot of people talk about it as if it's over, yet we still live with the impact of it, and one of those impacts being on consumers. We're all feeling the pinch of those times, disposable income's really under pressure. And when you look at your business model, that does seem to help you in a way, right? Because at a time when people can't necessarily buy new sneakers, perhaps they can clean the ones they already have.
Absolutely, and that's basically nail on the head. What we actually want to do is move that consumer behavior from that of overconsumption to sort of a retention. So like you're taking care of the things that you have, and there's no doubt in saying that the pandemic was a bit of an accelerator for that.
So that the demand picture, definitely demand.
Yeah.
How many stores do you currently have, and what's your target going forward?
So at the moment, we don't have a target. I think it's early days. I think we're very opportunistic. Where growth takes us, we kind of move. At the moment, we're pretty much on par with what we thought we would achieve. We're at about 15 stores at the moment. With just sort of 80 plus staff members. I think that's the part that we're really proud of. The fact that we're employing 80 plus people, and a lot of them are sort of young people. First gig. The future is a little bit of an unknown. I'm not sure for the folks out there, but in retail, it's very hard to sort of plan your sort of your rollout. I think we'd be very happy, if we achieved around 30 to 40 stores in South Africa in the next 3 to 4 years. That would be great. But like I said earlier, it's all about this model. Once we unlock the right model, that dictates really the sort of trajectory or the type of growth that we're going to pursue.
Let's talk about that model a little bit more in detail, because partnerships are becoming a lot more important for you as Sneaker Shack. What partnerships do you currently have, and how do they work to your favor?
So there's different types of partnerships, but I think the most exciting one that's almost critical to our growth at the moment is the Virgin Active partnership. We've been friends with those folks for a long time. It's a fantastic team. I think what we've done is we've basically plugged into the rewards business. I'm sure you know how that sort of rewards business works. It's a very interesting story. Is that in the first 3-4 weeks of the rewards business, I think we were on call to the Virgin Active, basically asked them to stop, because I think we had this feeling like we'd bit off more than we could chew.
A nice problem to have as an entrepreneur.
Except in the type of business that we're in, you almost only get 1 or 2 chances with customers, right? So you really want to sort of lower that that margin for error. And we saw a lot of errors starting to pop up just simply because of the demand. We'd really asked them to kind of slow things down, which they helped us. We'd have to. At that time we'd built out capacity, we're glad that we're sort of back online with them now. So I think those type of partnerships are ones that are sort of crucial to like the sort of core business. Other exciting partnerships that we do have with a branch of our business that we call Project Run. Guys like Laureus, for example, Laureus Sports, that are doing fantastic things in the community. Total Sports is one of those partners that we do have, and these are all exciting as a brand ethos partnership. What we stand for, being patriotic around South Africa, and the growth that we want to see in South Africa, in South African youth, as an entirety. And I think that's something that resonates with our customers, and I think South Africans at large.
You are very South African business, rightly so. This is your home base. This is where you are growing. Are there any thinkings at the moment of taking it beyond South African borders?
Yeah, we've seen a lot of opportunity. We're talking to a couple of folks that are potentially interested in taking Sneaker Shack into other territories. What's really interesting, I think we spoke before, is we're seeing a lot of potential in Europe. I think we're most excited about Middle East, and obviously, sort of Africa, like we spoke about, and yeah, I mean, it's not something that I consider we're focusing on totally at the moment. But definitely, eyes open for opportunity.
So when the right one comes along, you make
when
that
the right
move.
one comes. When the right one comes.
Lolo, as we wrap up, if there's someone sitting at home right now, they've got a great idea, or they think they have a great idea, what is your one piece of advice you would give them that can take that idea into a successful business like you've got?
I think the most critical thing is test your idea, right? So yes, you have an idea. That's probably the easy part. Test it. Be your own critic. Play your own devil's advocate, if you will. Before going out and looking for that sort of approval from friends and family, they're always going to make you feel good. They have a responsibility to make you feel good. So I think take it upon yourself to really, really kind of interrogate your idea as much as you can. I'm not saying overthink it, but like have a sense of clarity and build your level of conviction around it, but based on data, on actual information, and that will dictate where you go, and it gives you the confidence to kind of go wherever you need to.
Well, on those wise words, let's leave it there. Lolo, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me, Bronwyn.
Lolo Ndlovu is the founder of Sneaker Shack, and that's where you leave it for this episode of Africa Pulse. From me, Bronwyn Seaborn, and the rest of the team, it's goodbye for now.